Okay, we got 16 minutes and 22 seconds on this one. I'm getting kind of the leeway to flex my thoughts on the screen. But yeah, it's quite interesting because I just read a quote that was quite inspiring to me, and it literally encapsulates my whole philosophy of living. Because for me, like every philosophy complaining about life, about existence, or copiuming themselves to death, that you should live, you should live because of life is beautiful, because um, yeah, because life can surprise you, or there are like so many iterations of it, but in the categorically looking at it, it's gonna be okay. Is existence a net positive over non existence? Not many people can say yes, because we're literally wired in emotions and physical kind of sensations that affect the experiment, that existence is not a purified kind of state state of being. It's just theoretical ejaculation over existence and non-existence, the curiosity and the terror of unknowable variables, which is death, and what is gonna happen in death. And the other side of things is that you basically are gambling on life other than gambling on death, because the unknowable variables of life are experimentally proven, historically kind of identified. You have a couple of options to endure through pain or whatever, and then get to the other side of it. If it's good, if it's bad, if it's net positive, net negative, you need to go through it to understand it. The other argument is that life is absurd and life is unfair, and yeah, but despite of it, you need to persist anyway. This is the Camus philosophy, that the man pushes the boulder against the mountain, and the boulder doesn't move an inch, but he grows muscles and understands the pushing was the point. Its poetry, its philosophy is existentialist philosophy of Sartre and Kierkegaard, or all of these people instilled into one parable, one poem. It's fantastic, but still avoids the question that okay, if life is unfair, which is contested, I can literally explain life is not unfair, because being unfair literally has a definition. That definition is playing by different rules, different circumstances, but gravity doesn't change because someone is bad or someone is good, because gravity is a law, and human existence is a law as well. It just proves to us that we haven't identified and pinpointed the specific laws governing humanity, and that's about it. There are a couple of neuroscience here, philosophy there, and socioeconomic kind of reasoning to all of it, but still, the whole package is missing. You can say, okay, you contort reality towards yourself, but that reality is being processed through your neural pathways that puts focus on what you actually pursue in life. That's luck, that's your goal orientation, your opportunity sensors, your sixth sense. But the other aspect of it is like, okay, a rich person after uh, 1 month or 1 year of stability in that richness and new kind of status of living is gonna be used to it. His only joy is gonna be the challenge of losing it and sticking to it. So many people playing the paycheck game are not actually satisfied with the paycheck. They're terrified of having less than that. But a threshold of money that passes that your basics are gonna be forever cemented, money becomes a burden actually, because you don't have the fear of the basics anymore, and the rest of it is gonna be the quality of life that you actually don't have a fear of losing. So that's gonna become a burden of feeling empty. So many millionaire people who don't have a goal in life kill themselves because the basics and the terror of losing the basics, and in a sense the personification of death is not present. And in so many philosophies, the most people who have lived actually most intensively have been struggling with death and with thinking about death 24/7, because that's the reality of things. The more you think about death, the more you value losing life. And the funny thing of the whole thing is that the quote was that mind may err, but the blood will never. So basically is that, at least my reading of it would be, that really fascinated me because that aligns with my confirmation bias of my own philosophy of living, that I have studied law for 7 years in the peak of performance in global scale. And this is not flexing, but that's just understanding my own kind of tendencies better. I have written for 17 to now 18 years, and I have internalized structure and narrative thinking in my own thinking. So everything I'm thinking has to be systematized and has to follow some order. And pair that with law, it's literally has given me the understanding of dismantling everything to the atom. And when I see life is precious, I understand the cultural heritage behind it, that if 8 billion people say life is precious, of course life is precious, but I don't think like that. I literally think, okay, life is precious, what is your case? And then I go deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper, and I say, okay, there hasn't been any philosophy in, and I read a lot of them, is like to justify being rather than accepting being. So you either accept life because it's limited and you would be actually better off living and feeling and doing the living rather than thinking about living. But those people misunderstand that even living is not even identified. You can be living, thinking deeply about living. It is itself a form of living, because you're not killing yourself by thinking about living. And that's the kind of a stone log here. And for me it's like this systematized thinking about identity, because every philosopher, every kind of neuroscientist says that you need direction. That direction could be piss some people off, could be change the world, could be whatever. But with that direction, you endure everything to get to that point, or literally die trying. And that fascinates me because that direction is just, even they say like fall in love with the journey or whatever, but falling in love with the journey itself is a direction, is a purpose, is a movement, and is a kind of guide towards a direction, towards a destination. So you're at point A, you want to go to point B, and point B is not your destination. Point B is the mark you are gonna measure your destination with, and the actual direction is the destination. It's getting kind of philosophical, but the vector stretching from point A to point B is the actual destination, because reaching point B has the hidden kind of objective of making you happier, making you enjoy life, making you feel better about yourself and about your situation. So point B is not becoming a billionaire. Point B is not changing the world. Point B is the vector that is gonna lead you towards the hope of feeling better about yourself, making the world a better place, or being a billionaire or whatever. So everything is like internalized. And when I think about this, is like, okay, this internalized kind of belief is just, yeah, it's just like your identity. And the identity you have is non-linear. Your identity is not who you are today, is not who you were 10 years ago. It's not who you are like 20 years from now. Your identity is a culmination of your life, who you have been most of your time breathing. And for me, is the identity is the writer, is the thinker, whatever. So when I see like, it's not even like a philosophical mumbo jumbo either. Like I saw someone today said push, like said he's like a CEO, and he has like about 80,000 or 100,000 followers on LinkedIn, and he had like this kind of positivity porn saying, okay, push through it, persist through it. And I was like so sick of like this generic idealization that I literally had to like actually give a fucking practical advice to it. That doesn't make me any better. That does make me like approaching the situation with a more precision that actually gives people more kind of a tangible destination rather than keep pushing. No. If you want to be a billionaire in 10 years, you need to have a specific kind of reality checking marks. You need to understand, okay, if you are in tech, you can be a billionaire in tech. But if you are a fucking writer, in 10 years, you're not going to be a billionaire just writing. So just push is not like a fucking magic voodoo wand that you literally wave around and the reality is going to obey. That's literally like a stupidity at the peakest kind of, its peakest form. Everything has like 3 stages. Simply put, is informed optimism, that you don't know about the challenges of life, don't know about challenges of anything you do, and you're uninformed and optimistic towards it working. I'm gonna be a billionaire by the end of the week kind of type. And that's the stage where the world is silent. You don't exist. You're invisible. You're totally invisible. No one sees you because you don't have any kind of presence to matter. You have literally 1 subscriber on fucking YouTube, and the algorithm is like suggesting you to 50 people, and they're not liking the thumbnail or the text or whatever, your tone of voice or how you look and stuff like that. That's the phase 1. And actually, that's not the phase 1 that people quit, which is fascinating, because still the optimism, the kind of hope and the direction, the vector is stretching towards an ideal. The second one, which is the informed pessimism, that you start to realize, okay, no one is actually seeing my, let's say, 1,000 videos. No one is actually reading anything I write. No one is actually buying my product. And then you start to actually see two types of things. Not only the silence from people who matter continues, but you start to generate hate. You start to have one comment, the first comment on your video ever is gonna be a hate comment. People are gonna mock you or whatever. I've had this in my writing, in my language journey, in my everything. And this is the part people actually quit, because that's the part that hurts the most. Not because people are kind of diminishing your dream, but you are getting more data and more information, recalibrating your endpoints. You say, okay, realistically, this is not going to happen in 10 years in the path I'm in. So instead of recalibrating, you just quit and you go to the cycle through the cycle in the new domain, and you quit again in the second step of that as well. But the third one, we're running out of video and storage, but yeah, the third one is the next video.